Tectonic shift. Shaping the future with innovation.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Prompt Engineering Podcast. In this video, we will learn some more prompting techniques and we will discover ChatGPT secrets which will boost your productivity. So let's get started. So, context is important, and you learned in the previous episode that you can add context by adding roles and constraints or extra information. Using this basic strategy and keeping those core elements that make a prompt in mind will often lead to great results. But no matter how good the results are, the initial result, the first result you get from ChatGPT might not be exactly what you are looking for. For example, here in this tweet, we might be happy with the start of the tweet, but maybe I then don't want to have this last sentence part get out there. Maybe I instead want to add a personal note, a personal touch to this tweet, and maybe I also want to encourage my target audience, the people who read the tweet, to share what they think about hiking. And while you still might want to change some parts of that final response, which by the way is something I absolutely would recommend because ChatGPT can be a great starting point. But you should always take a critical look at the results it gives you and fine tune them as needed for your specific use case. But while you can do all of that using follow up messages and taking advantages of the fact that you are dealing with a chat where ChatGPT will take all messages into account. Not just your latest message can lead to better results and therefore better starting points for your finishing touches. Since ChatGPT takes the entire chat history into account and not just your latest message, which is really important, you don't have to put as much information into your follow up message. Instead, this can simply be a simpler message where you don't set a role or anything like that, but where you just define the extra goal or change that should be applied by ChatGPT. And ChatGPT will automatically look at the existing history and put your new message into context to that existing history. So it will connect the new message with that existing history, and that's of course a super powerful feature which allows you to use ChatGPT in a highly efficient way. Therefore, you also don't have to get that initial prompt 100% right. You don't have to come up with the perfect initial prompt. Instead, you can refine the response and the result over time by sending follow up messages, and that is absolutely something you should be aware of because it is a key ChatGPT feature. It's called ChatGPT after all and not one message GPT or something like that. So, when working with ChatGPT and when constructing prompts, context is really important. But which kind of context? Which kind of information should you add to your prompts? Well, in the end, of course, any information that's important for your goal, for the main purpose of your prompt, but whichever context you are adding, you should prefer short focused sentences. For some prompts, you can also just use a list of keywords like a bullet list or anything like that, and that might give you good results. But in general, right now, it seems as if short sentences that contain the relevant data are better than simple lists of keywords. Now, that being said, though, of course, you should include all the important keywords that you need for your prompt, just not as a list of keywords, but instead of enclosed into short, focused sentences. You should definitely avoid adding unnecessary information to your prompts though. Anything that's not needed to achieve your goal could distract ChatGPT and could therefore lead to a suboptimal result. Now, besides adding some general keywords and goal specific information, there are some types of information that are needed for almost all prompts. For example, for many prompts, you might want to define the target audience of the prompt. If you are asking ChatGPT to create a tweet for you, you might want to specify who's the target audience of that tweet, since that, of course, helps ChatGPT fine tune the tweet towards that target audience. You also might want to control the tone, style, and length of the output. If it should be friendly or very determined, if it should be a very long response or pretty short. You can also define how many characters you want to have in that result output, for example. And speaking of that output, another important kind of context you might want to add to some prompts is the output format. Now, the default is that you get text, and for many use cases, that's exactly what you need. But you can use ChatGPT for all kinds of scenarios. For example, also to generate some dummy data that you might want to use in one of your projects. For example, if you are developing an application or if you are practicing data science. And in such scenarios, it could be helpful to tell ChatGPT that you want the output in JSON format or in CSV format, or that you want unformatted Markdown. So raw Markdown format which you then could feed into your application where it then might get formatted. So it's really important to also be aware of this fact that you can control the output format, and if you have enabled the ChatGPT code interpreter feature, it could even give you the downloadable link. That's all for today. Please stay tuned for upcoming episodes as we will dive deep in prompts and we will practice some exciting new prompting techniques. Until then, bye bye.